Hey guys, great to have you all here today, and you know what? This clinic is outstanding. Through my career, this is my first time I've ever attended. A lot of time I've had my children, they were always involved in activities, or I was at situations where I couldn't come, but I always ordered the tapes. I always ordered the DVDs. And I learned so much ball from a lot of these gentlemen that have spoken in the past. And early in my career, I was very fortunate. I started off at a small school in Alabama called Livingston University, which is called West Alabama University. I was fortunate that Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama, was only about an hour up the road. And there was a line coach up there by the name of Jack Rutledge. And I didn't know anything about wishbone football and veer. I came out of what is so-called now still the West Coast offense. My college coach, Bob Waters, came from the 49ers and implemented the 49ers offense with us at Western Carolina University. So I go to University of Livingston University, and I have to learn split back veer, and Jack Rutledge took me under his wing and helped me. That's when coaches used to go to other campuses and spend time with other coaches and share ideas and help them along the way. So I've been very fortunate. John Metzko, was at University of North Carolina. I was a little Livingston. I'd call John, hey John, can you send me some tape so I can study what you're doing with the veer? So all of a sudden he sent me 2 canisters. This is 16 millimeter now back then. I'm dating myself a little bit. So we would swap out, get to see that. Roy Gregory was at UT Chattanooga. They were running the split back veer. He coached with Joe Morrison, great running back for the Giants, and they were doing a great job. So you become a coach by studying. Now, here's one I could tell you with you young people. Take the film, take video, and grind. What I mean by that is study it. You can get the details. Dan just went over with the details with footwork, hand placement. You can do the same thing by developing your own skill set, and teaching. So along the way, as my career continued to grow, I was fortunate enough to get to the Canadian Football League because Bob got hired in the NFL. So Bob was going to go to Ottawa, and he decided to go to Cincinnati. So I replaced him up there at Ottawa. It gave me my chance to get exposed to pro football. But along the way, Jim Halfand was a great teacher and helper. Jim McNally's helped me along the way. Howard Mudd, he's the best. You talk about being able to recover on blocks. I studied with him several years ago, several days. I mean, he's a master of being able to efficiently find a way to get your man blocked when you're out of position or he's beat you. So what I'm going to do right here today is I'm going to share some ideas that's worked for me. I bought into what I know I teach. This is what I teach. This is what I believe in. And I'm going to continue teaching it this way because it works for me. So I'm going to share some of these ideas, and hopefully it can help you some, and we'll go from there. Okay? Okay, this first part here, okay, we're going to talk about concepts of blocking the outside zone. So if you'll see, there's an illustration up here, okay? And this illustration, this is a right alignment and this is a left alignment, okay? And I call this a 2x2 principle, okay? So with the 2x2 principle, we're looking for a horizontal stretch on this thing right here, okay? So that's the main thing. So if this is, and again, I look by 2x2 combinations here. This is center, right guard, right tackle, tight end. They're all taught the same thing right here, okay? So if this is the uncovered lineman that's got the stripes, and that's a covered lineman, that defensive lineman over the covered lineman has 3 areas he's going to maneuver. He's either going to play you straight up, or he's going to play you what I put FS, front side, and I have him BS, back side. And that linebacker is doing the exact same thing. So with this principle right here, we're looking with the uncovered lineman. Dan was talking about 3 steps, and I use it the same thing. I have a 3-step concept, but I use it in terms of degrees, okay, with your footwork. So the first step when that uncovered lineman is coming to try to engage that down lineman, we open up at a 90-degree angle step. Short, 6-inch, 90-degree angle step. That second step goes at a 75-degree angle, working to overtake that defensive down lineman. And then on the third step, you're thinking to climb and overtake. This down lineman now that's covered, if he's covered, he's going to take a direct step. The tighter the defender, the tighter your step. The wider the defender, you're going to take a little bit more of a drop step to get in that angle, okay? So this defender has him right here, head up. If he works front side, he's going to engage through the front side armpit, and that's what we teach. 2 hands going through that outside armpit, and backhand, if you can get it engaged in the midline or the sternum, you continue. But he's working front side, you keep pressing that front side armpit. If that happens, that guard or that center, whoever that is, that's the uncovered lineman, as he opens up 90, 75, hips, knee away. Hand check, stay the course, and climb on that linebacker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of this illustration here that's up on the board, and then I'm going to show you some practice tape or teaching tape, and then lead it into game tape, okay? So you can see how it works in phases. So at this point in time, if that defensive end plays at home, that tackle, or if that's the tight end, or if that's the guard, and that's the uncovered lineman, that could be the right guard, right tackle, that could be the center, right guard, that can be the right tackle, tight end, in an uncovered alignment. When that defender, or when that blocker opens up 90, 75, and that guy's playing at home, on the third step, he's thinking to overtake. Overtake. And we tell him overtake midline, the front side armpit. Okay? Because this blocker, at this point in time, is sprinting off the ball through that outside armpit. He's not worried about anything else than that. He's engaged. He's protect that outside gap area and leverage. Okay? So next, if that defensive end spikes inside by my 90, my first 90, I now know overtake, and that tackle right there hand checks, or that guard hand checks, or the tight end hand checks, and he climbs the second level. 3-step overtake, 90, 75, third step overtake, nothing there. We tell him to hand check or feed. So feed means this. He's hanging on the back shoulder, but he's gotten width. I can't overtake at this point in time. I've taken my 3 steps. As Dan said earlier, you take 5, it's too many. So I've taken my third, it's hanging on the back shoulder. I'm going to feed 2 hands back onto that blocker and then climb the second level. If it's not, I hand check and stay that course of angle so I can intercept this player. So this is a right alignment, and this is a left alignment. So this would be left tackle, tight end, left guard, left tackle, center, left guard. So any 2x2 combinations, it's taught the same way, across the board for us. Okay? And again, uncovered lineman takes a 90 degree, 75 degree, by the third step, overtakes, okay, keys down lineman, the linebacker. He thinks reach, hook, or pin, and climb the second level. And again, the covered lineman, direct step. If he's tight to you, it's a direct step. If he's wide on you, you take a little bit of an angle step, okay, or open step. And then at that point in time, you're running right through the armpit. Keep it simple. Make him play fast. The object of this play, it's outside zone. If it's to the tight end area, it's at the outside hip. If it's to the open side, we tell them the open side to the imaginary tight end to that side. That's where our back's landmark is. Okay? So our linemen, on the snap of that ball, I want them blowing and going. There's speed and movement. There's no drag. I want them playing as fast as they can, and we get some communication going with it. So that's the basis of our outside zone. Okay? Next. On the back side. Okay? So Dan was covering some of those A's and B's, and we have the same thing, terminology. Okay? So let's say this happens here. This is the center, okay, and the right guard, center, left guard. This is the right guard, right tackle, left guard, left tackle. This is the right tackle, tight end. That's the left tackle, tight end. So those Bs, there's 4 of them. That's the location that linebacker can be in. Okay? Based on that alignment, those 2 blockers have to now identify the alignment of the down lineman to the linebacker and make their choice of action and angle to intercept those 2 blockers. Okay? So, let's take this as a right guard, right tackle, left guard, left tackle. So I call that a fast B. I got to go up tempo. So I'm not going to drag, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stick this right hand, as Dan said, put it in his chest. We're going to take the near shoulder and try to stab the near shoulder. And at that point in time, if I make contact, fine. If I don't make contact, I'm moving. I'm gone. It's his responsibility to know that linebacker has bossed over a unit past us, about a unit and a half past us. So he is on the track. His footwork, again, is 90-75 overtake. So his overtake is overtake and try to overtake that down defender, or we give them the freedom on the backside to cut when they can. Cut. We want the backside shoulder, head and backside shoulder through the front side of that body to get your body going north on your cut. Okay? That's how we do it. Now, do we cut much? No, there's some situations that will permit us to, others that don't. If they don't, we go into an overtake mode, okay? So with this situation here now, that linebacker is somewhat stacked. Well, if that linebacker is somewhat stacked in a 2 position or 3 position, that guard now knows I can give a little bit of hand check, but it's up-tempo play. This is going to be an outside zone play. It's a 6 or 7 hole play. So on this play, at this point in time, this guard is going to hand check, take that angle to pursue, to pick up that linebacker, and the same footwork by that backside lineman. 90-75 overtake. Okay? If that linebacker's back in a 4 alignment, then we know he can stay a little bit heavier because of his approach and where that linebacker is. So you can see the same combinations that are applied front side are applied backside. Again, play with speed and play with tempo. This play is an outside zone play. Everyone is moving. That back's moving for width. We are running in that direction with horizontal stretch and with speed, and let's take over our blocks at this point in time. Okay? So you'll see there's combination blocks that I put up here. So the tackle, tight end, that's going to be an eat. That's a 2x2 eat. The front side guard, tackle, that's a tag. The center guard, that's a stitch. Sometimes we'll use this. This is going to be more for the inside zone stuff, but basically same calls. And on the back side, we have up-tempo plays. So you'll see A1, B1, C1. That is all fast, up-tempo, no help. Uncover lineman uses 90-75. Backside, if you can, you cut. So any backside blocker, starting with the center, if you're in that position, you can lay one down, lay him down. If you can't, you can't. You get to the landmark, which is front side armpit. You try to take position of them at that point in time. But when you can, and if you can, get them on the ground, because it causes a seam at this point in time for the running back to cut the ball. If he can't take it to the outside landmark, he could cut it up. And that's what we tell him. If there's no outside entry point, put your foot in the ground and cut that ball vertically north, because we've stretched you horizontally. Okay? So, with that said, this is outside zone, full zone technique. This is 90-70-75 overtake drill, okay? So with all our linemen, we'll set them up, and I'll put bags 1 unit ahead of everyone, okay? So imaginary tight end. That's going to be the right tackle's landmark. Right guard's landmark is a 4 technique. Center's landmark is a 2. Backside guard is a 0. Backside tackle is a 3. And they all come out of there. 90, 75, by the third step, overtake, and I'm thinking, I want to see reach, hook, and pin. Okay, let's see it. And we'll go from there. And it's speed. And as you can see, there's no lagging. I want him to go. Open, open. I like to have this tackle open up a little bit more, and then drive those hands inside, and you can see backside hand through the sternum, and you're thinking outside armpit and reach, hook, and pin. So that's how we build this outside zone principle. Now, this is with some of our rookies last year, but same principle. Imaginary tight end, and a little bit better footwork by this tackle here, opened up in a 90, 75, and I don't care about crossing over on this play. This is an outside play. This is the only time I'll tell them you can cross over. Inside zones, we do not. We don't ever let the inside foot exceed the outside foot on inside zone. Outside foot, yes, you can, because the angle you're trying to take for the leverage purpose. Okay? So you can see, they all take somewhat of a crossover step to get to their 75-degree angle step, but the landmark is outside armpit, and then rake the hands, run, rake, clamp, and position. And you'll see them go to the left doing the same thing. 90, 75, overtake, and again, speed with the feet. Dan said it earlier, same thing here, rapid feet. Those feet got to be moving like pistons. Engage and gain ground. Okay? This was with our rookies just recently, putting them in the drill. Okay? Same thing, tempo, speed, get to the landmark, and think reach, hook, and pin. We went right and we went left with it. Okay? So next phase, 2x2. Okay, any 2x2, 3x3, 4x4 outside zone keys and reads. So let's watch it and I'll coach off of it from here. Okay, so we're working this combination here. This is what I called stitch earlier. That's the right guard, that's the center. He's thinking overtake the 3, okay? So he's going to go 90, 75. He's going to sprint right through that outside armpit. If that defender stays outside, he's keeping it. He's taking the 75-degree angle and running off of that hip right there at that angle to pursue where that linebacker should be. If that defender spikes inside, he'll overtake, he'll hand check, and stay on that same course looking for that linebacker. If he plays at home and he keeps outside leverage, it's his responsibility now to push him through. Take care of the first level. Push him through. So watch it here. So outside leverage, it's Marshall Young. Now, this guy is one hell of a football player, and he works at it every day. Every day. I'm blessed to have a young man like that to be able to work with, because he comes out from, this is talking about, if we have, we call double ACT walkthroughs, he's walking through the technique like it's supposed to be done. You don't have to tell him. That's how driven he is to succeed. And guys like that make our profession easier to coach guys, right? So watch him. Just watch him when he does some of this stuff. He's technique driven. And then this young man is now with Tampa Bay. He was with us last year, Ryan Jensen. You can see him open up 90, 75, hand check, and get on the course. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But we keep striving towards that to try to make it the best we can each day, correct, improve, and keep moving forward. Okay, now we're going to the left. Same thing here. So that left guard is going to run right through that outside armpit. That center opens up 90, 75, stay the course, and the action to get to the linebacker. Okay, so we're going to take it again, right guard and center. Same thing. Now, too much of a lateral step, like to have it more direct, so the tighter the defender, go through the landmark. Don't step lateral. You step lateral, you open up a big hole for that backside center or that backside blocker to try to pick up. Here's one, front side action, center off the 90, 75, stay the course. Okay, Now we'll go with some other combinations here. Okay? Same thing, outside leverage, reach in, stay the course. Okay, so the guard went through. The defender spikes inside. You see him take a little move inside? That guard doesn't chase any longer. That's up to that center now to overtake. Anything on that back shoulder, he starts off at a 90, 75, overtake, backside hand through the sternum, midline, and try to hook and pin. And that guard works the second level. Okay, here we go right here. Same thing. Spike move. You can see direct step by the guard. Direct step, 90 by the center. Comes with a 3-step overtake. And that guard hand checks and climbs. Second level to the outside armpit. Okay, so now this is a 4x4. Okay, this is working a tackle, tight end, guard, center combination. Okay, so maneuvering these two people and these two people, what we want to get. Either front side action, right here, or backside action with linebacker scraping over the top. So watch it. So front side action, 90, 75, and at this point in time, push it through. That linebacker gets anywhere close to be getting stacked, double it up and keep pushing through the double team to overtake. And these were our rookies last year when they came in for early rookie camp. Okay, here's a direct step, and again, I use two tackles in that situation. What's the difference? Okay, he's still blocking as he would be a right tackle anyway. So you put two tackles next to each other, let them continue getting some work. Same thing, 90, 75 overtake. Here you go with the guard, direct step to the 3. Here goes the center at this point in time, 90, 75, nothing to overtake. Push it through, climb the second level. Okay, now we get the spikes. So spike move, 90, 75, overtake, reach, hook, and pin, second level hand check, climb, and go. And this is, we just did this with the rookies in rookie minicamp. Okay, same thing. So he comes out of this thing 90, 75. We want to press that outside armpit. Okay, if he stays at home, overtake him. There you go. Overtake him. Push it. By the third step, 90, 75, overtake. Colors exposed on the back shoulder. Go push it through. And then we did combinations here. Okay? So now this is a 3-man combination with a middle linebacker playing either middle. Sometimes we'll put him even in a stack alignment over the nose on the backside where he goes over the top. But we run any kind of combinations in here where, again, he spikes, he comes downhill, he may penetrate across the face, he may loop, and now we have to have 3 people working engaged on those 3 people. And going to the left, same thing. And again, faster footwork and speed. And again, you can see the guard right here. If he gets a defender that spikes, he hand checks, stabs it, hand checks, and goes. And this is all lead up. This is all lead up that's going to take place into actual play. Okay, backside zones, okay? So now you're into the backside concept. So we have a backside linebacker over the guard. We have a 5 technique on the tackle, so he's going to wall this on the backside. Those two are going to run an up-tempo A. So he's going to hand check, step, play side foot. He's going to come out at a 90, 75 overtake, take it through there, and we run combinations on the backside with our A. Speed again. And you can see hand check and climb. Again, tempo, speed, movement. This again is a center guard combination on an A. And those are all A's. Okay? So that takes it into the fundamentals that lead up to the actual game tape, and now I'll show you outside zone play, okay, where we put it all together with everything we've done from full zone, where they all had to full zone it, combination it 2x2, 3x3, and now put it all into action, okay? Step. But he was able now, to, as we said, any defender that gets parallel to me and tries to cross my face, I don't think about reaching anymore, but prying open and corkscrew him out of here. Get him out of there with width, and then let the first defender blocker go to second level, which he does. So Ronnie goes to second level. He engages. You can see it on the backside. We've got a three-man gang going on the backside to pick up any trash on the back end. This is all outside zone, open side and closed. Okay, to the closed side. We got them muddling around over here. So anytime we get people muddling around, it's full zone. We'll kick a word into it, and we'll tell all linemen, don't worry about responsibility at this point. You all full zone front side. Let's capture what we have in front of us. It could be DB, linebacker, down lineman, it doesn't matter. Let's all get going, and we let the center handle that situation. So when we get a muddle situation, here we go. And get hats on hats, play fast as you can, make contact, snatch, grab, hold, and keep on blocking. Okay? Now watch this right guard. You see him skip? We don't want him to skip. Okay, he was a rookie last year for us. I like to have him sprint off that ball to that outside armpit. Those three are working a combination to those three. Those two are working a combination to those two, and we'll have someone for support on the outside. So our tackle decided to go around the horn, which he shouldn't have. He should have taken it right here, stayed on that course, hand checked, or either try to work a double team with him, climbed up through here, but you can see what's taking place on the backside with the right guard, center, and left guard. Better footwork by our center going 90-75. Okay, again, against a jam defense, they opened it up, they widened it to the 4 technique. So watch the left guard. 90-75, I can't reach it, I can't overtake it, so I'm going to feed him to you. So he's going to feed, stay the course of action. We had an extra blocker, we bought a blocker to that side, so we're able to do this. On the back side, you can see the guard hand check, more tempo. He's got to still run, go. Don't slow it down and try to capture, and on the back side, we try to get the hook and pin or cut. Again, object, get convoy of bodies moving in that direction. Gather bodies in different colored jerseys and keep on moving. Okay, watch this here. So now we got outside zone coming here. We got a spike. They're giving us odd spacing. So we got a combination scheme here. We got a combination scheme here. He's got to do a great job of cutting off. He's going to take outside leverage, and we got a support player. Spikes. Now the left tackle's just got to throttle down a little bit. You got a linebacker coming downhill. Try to position him, pin him inside. You can see the backside 90-75 overtake scheme right here by he in the center. And you get leverage on the defenders that give us a seam. And that's our outside zone principle, showing you with lead up of technique and fundamentals and then actual play. Yes?
Coach, if you guys have 4 eyes, place on 4 eyes, something into the A gap, wouldn't that center pick up that?
He could, yes. Yes. And usually if that happens, then we want to bring the whole line with us then. Because if that's the case, we'll ask that backside guard to come too. Because if that's going to happen, then those should return back to the backside guard. And then we want to try to go into it either with a game plan, scheme, or call if we see bodies move in that direction. Okay? Any questions about outside zone? Before I move on to the inside zone, we good?
How much depth do you need? You said 90 degrees is the first step. You put your guys buried in their depth in their first step.
Right. Whatever their footwork that gets them to that 90 degrees. I'm not going to bring a measuring stick out there. 90, 75, get your footwork and get moving with speed.
Where's your running back saving point?
Outside, if it's to the tight end, outside hip of the tight end, and if it's open side, same thing, imaginary tight end. Okay? And he presses it. He runs it there, and if we get push by getting stretch, okay, we get horizontal stretch, then at that point in time, he knows colors in front of me, put my foot on the ground, head north. Yes, sir? On alignment, we back off the ball. Okay, our helmets are behind the numbers of the center. Okay, we try to get off the ball so we can pick up a lot of the games and stunts that way. And what Dan said earlier about alignment, ours is very similar about placement of the foot and how you line up to get in that position. We good? Okay, I'll move on to inside zone then. And feel free to ask now. If you don't have a question now and you see me later, please ask. We'll share ideas. Bob, I may be a little early, but we should be okay, right? Okay, inside zone. Okay, getting back to the inside zone. Before the outside zone even maybe took place that I studied more inside zone over my career. Way back when I was in the World League with Birmingham, and we had teams in the States, and we had teams abroad. So I worked for Chan Gailey, great offensive mind, great offensive coach, great person. And that off season, we took the job, went to Birmingham. Chan came from the Broncos with Dan Reeves. So he came in here first year, we put in the old Broncos offense. And we incorporated that and had some success. So the second year, he said, we're going to change things. So we studied the Redskins with Coach Gibbs. We had all the tape of the NFL. So we took those guys, and Jim Hannafan, that's when I was able to develop a relationship with Jim. And then Howard was at Kansas City at the time, and they were running the zone also. And at that time, they were taking draft choices and giving them to us, okay, to help develop them for the season. So I was fortunate enough to have a second-round draft pick from Howard that he sent this young man by the name of Joe Valerio down to us. We got to coach Joe for 10 games or preseason. He was a second-round pick out of University of Pennsylvania. So, make a long story short, we started dabbling in the zone and really studying the inside zone. Coach Bugle was the line coach there. Didn't get to know him, but we just studied the tape, and we tried to pick up all the intricacies of inside zone, and we carried that with us. Chan and I carried that. We worked together for 13 years, and we moved from place to place and just keep elaborating on the inside zone. So inside zone has been always good for us. It's been a productive play. You got to work at it, and I'll show you some things that we've done there at Baltimore, okay? So same inside zone concept, okay? This now, instead of it being horizontal stretch, we're thinking vertical push. We're going to pound the downs on this one. As much as we can get double teams and fit double teams and get vertical push with leg drive, as you saw on the outside zone, I'm looking for foot speed, tempo, play fast, get on body parts, get on landmarks, take angles, and play ball fast, okay? On this one here, now you're going to start fitting your blocks. You're going to see more tighter fits. The landmark moves from outside armpit on inside zone, the front side number, okay? The engagement of the second blocker is going to be the midline of that down defender. So we can seam hips and shoulders together and get movement, okay? And as I always say, let's put 600 pounds on 300 pounds. Let's create some softness with bodies on top of bodies. So, again, if this is the right guard, okay, right tackle, if that's the center, right guard, if that's the right tackle, tight end, it doesn't matter, okay? You're going to have a front side, home, backside alignment by that D lineman. He's going to play you three different ways. He's either going to two-gap you, he's going to loop outside, or he's going to spike inside. Somehow, there's going to be some gap responsibility involved. Those linebackers have to fit off of those gap responsibilities. So at this point in time, we fit our blocks accordingly. So uncovered lineman, we tell them to take an open angle drive step. And that open, because that defender's away from me, I'm uncovered, my step is going to be slightly open angle. I never let the inside foot cross over the outside foot. That's my second step. And drive, I'm working now to try to get my shoulders square. On the inside zone, we'd like to try to get our shoulders square to the defenders and cover them up. Okay? Cover them up first level to second level and let that back pick his hole. Inside zone, running back. Hit the B gap, press the B gap to cut back. If there's double spikes inside, it may bounce. But we tell them, hit the B gap, press the B gap, feet to the hole of the B gap, and press it, press it, press it. If it's clogged there, think cut back. Unless I get, again, double spikes by two maneuvers inside that causes me to bounce the ball outside. Okay? So, you saw the footwork. Open angle drive by the uncovered lineman. The covered lineman, his landmark is front side number. And he's going to direct step to that front side number, two hands to that number. He's going to use power and generate force and leg drive to create softness and movement. This uncovered lineman is going to read the near hip, okay, and near knee and near hip of that down lineman. If that down lineman loops out, he hand checks, squares his body up, and goes to the midline of that linebacker. The worst he ever gets is front side number, okay, unless the linebacker over pursues. If that defender stays at home and that linebacker moves to a stack, pound the down. Seam the hips and shoulders together, get movement. If that defender spikes inside, the guard overtakes, that lineman hand checks, climbs the second level. So this would be for the right guard, center, right guard, right tackle, tight end, and this illustration here is to the left. So it'd be center, left guard, left tackle, tight end. Fit in those same schemes. So you have an uncovered, covered illustration that's going to show you how to now fit your blocks accordingly. Okay? So on the back side, now you have your B's again. Okay? And again, same philosophy, pound it down. But by location of those linebackers, it's going to cause you to have to move. If the inside zone's called and that linebacker is playing inside leverage, just like so. Well, that guard right there cannot help that tackle much. Okay? We call that a fast beat. You got to get going. Move. That tackle knows at this point in time, I'm out of the 90-75 mode. Okay? That was for outside zone. My technique now is drop. It's going to be drop, angle, and drive. And my landmark is the midline of that down lineman. And I'm raking hands and punching through. Okay? Raking hands and punching through. So, when that linebacker now is in a 2 or 3 alignment, I call that ZPA. Zone, pop, and angle. Okay? So that guard is going to take a little 3 or 4 inch step with his inside foot, take his near foot to the near shoulder of that down lineman. I don't use shoulder blocks anymore. I use hands. Get more extension with hands, can get on bodies faster. And I pop that near shoulder with both hands when I can and feed him and propel myself to the angle to that linebacker. Or I fit the double team that way. This uncovered lineman or that backside blocker takes, again, drop step, angle, and he drives and collisions with hand rake right through the midline, and we want to seam hips and shoulders and create movement going vertically. Okay? So that's what's being done on the B. And the further that linebacker's back door, the heavier the inside blocker stays on that 3 technique or inside blocker. So again, if this is the tackle and guard, right guard, that's those two working their regular B. If that's the tackle and tight end, that tackle is going to help that tight end stay a little longer on that linebacker before he leaves him. Okay? For inside zone. And then we have the calls. Same calls that we used front side. Didn't change. Okay? Just different landmarks. Same communication. You got to know if it's inside zone or outside zone. The only thing that's different is that when we get anything remotely close to a SAM stacked over a 3 technique, we call that a plug. And we want to generate double team force at the point of attack. We're not going to zone block that thing. We're going to try to create some softness on that 3 technique that's in the B gap area and get movement, create movement. And then this Rick is in here because by alignment of nose guards, right? By alignment or by ability, they can wreak havoc and screw a play up or screw a game up. So don't let them do that. So we have a combination block that we call that right guard or play side guard. Say, hey, help me on this nose guard. We don't do that on the outside zone. We have a different scheme that goes into that. But on the inside zone, help me. And then that's our little ricochet block where I'll help on that shoulder and come off of it. But on the backside of your blocks, there's just simple A's, B's, and C's. And now, again, creating more movement and pushing everything more vertical. You will not see a 97, shouldn't see a 90-75 footwork here unless linebackers are bossed so far over that the backside tackle has to do that, okay? Okay, stretch a muscle. So we start our drills off when it's going to be inside zone. You saw earlier that on the outside zone, we took our 90-75 overtake steps. Now we'll offset. We'll go 3 by 3 on both sides. Shade 3-5. Direct step, direct step, direct step. Helmet to the front side number. Second step through the crotch. Thumbs inside tight. Thumbs inside tight. Fingers out. Elbows to the ground and lift. Lift and leg drive. So with leg drive, here's one thing that I've done over the years. The knees are always out in front of the toes as you're leg driving. So if you're generating force, those knees are pumping and they're going out in front of the toes. So as we do that, we get great movement. One other thing, I have a young man sitting in this room who played for me with the Buffalo Bills, Colin Brown. He was a hell of a guard and center, and he's going into the ministry. Okay, he's come here with his brother to see this clinic today, but this young man came from Missouri from a 2-point stance, and we had to teach him how to get in a 3-point stance, but he learned how to do that and turned out to be a hell of a guard. So give him a hand real quick. Good. And I have another young man that's a player here by the name of Nick Hennessy, who's at UT Chattanooga. It's good to see old players come back and become coaches, and then George Cooper, who played for us at UT Chattanooga. Those are 3 that I noticed that were former players of mine, or I had an association with them, that now you see them in the profession, which is nice. Okay, so let's watch this right here. So stretch and muscle, and again, I call it stretch and muscle because I want to get vertical push. So direct step and go. Accelerate, thumbs inside, tight, elbows inside to the ground, and you can see it right here. This young man right here, Alex Lewis, okay, Bill Lewis's boy, And I coach Bill. How about that? So I got a son now, which is a treat also. So now Alex is a good player and a good technician right here. He works at his job every day. So stretch your muscle left, stretch your muscle right. Second step through the crotch. Faster with the second step. We want to stick it right through the crotch, hip roll, and leg drive. And again, these are our rookies last summer. Okay, going to the right. Again, not a lateral step. This young man likes to step lateral. We got to break him of that, where he pushes off. And again, I tell him this. If you're going to step with your right foot, put pressure on the inside arch of the left foot. Shift that weight in there. Makes it easier to step with your right foot. Generate power going that force in that direction. Again, stretch your muscle. We want to get vertical push on this, okay? Backside cutoffs. So now, when the defender is in that position and he's playing you a shade or he's playing you a 3 and he's playing you a 4-eye and he wants to cross-face you on the backside, okay? So instead of letting him beat you in that situation, take a 3 or 4 inch zone step to this with your foot opposite the play, to the play side, and your backside foot's through the crotch, and you're working through inside thigh, hip, and number on those defenders to wall them off and keep them from penetrating. And then accelerate drive. This is James Hurst who played at Carolina, and you can see good zone step, generates force with his hands inside, and then leg drive to finish the block.
Coach, first step ideally, do you want it to be up a little bit?
Lateral. Just little lateral. 3 or 4 inch lateral. Second step through the crotch. So you don't get beat across the face on a spike move. You can see it here. So we'll stretch a muscle to the right. We'll cut it off on the backside to the left to keep that same footwork so we can keep getting building patterns for footwork and balance. Okay? So now you have your 2x2, 3x3 front side, inside zone keys and reads. Okay? So same principle. Front side, home, back side. How's he going to play you? How are you going to fit the blocks now? Okay, so again, this is when we had Rick at camp last year. So this is your center, your right guard, right tackle. They're running some form of a tag scheme here. He works front side, I open angle drive, and I try to get back square on that linebacker, go down the midline, the front side number. If that defender spikes inside, I will overtake, I will hand check, I'll climb. If he moves to a stack alignment, move the downs, pound the downs, seam hips and shoulders together, create movement with leg drive. Okay? So we have an outside maneuver by the 5 technique, the play side tackle, hat to the front side number, helmet adjust, and Dan said this earlier about being able to relocate your hat and eyes to the spot. Well, the spot's a front side number, so helmet adjust your eyes and your hat to that spot and follow that course of action. So when you get movement by D lineman, you're not a step behind. Okay? Then open, angle, do not cross over, and square it up. Run, rake, and I tell them this. Run, rake, and clamp. Second level. Okay, that's loop, spike. Don't step out, direct step vertically, open step, hit it square, and again, shoulder pad square, inside zone, shoulder pad square, climb. And now we've got a defender working slowly, so now I'm going to pound it down on a double team. Seam the hips and shoulders together, create movement. Same thing on this side. Tackle, guard combination with the center playing on a shade nose. Guard takes an open step, angle, the 5 technique plays outside leverage, don't chase, hand check, climb, rake. Right down the midline of the linebacker.
Coach, what's the rake? What are you talking about?
Rake hands. Rake hands. Good question. Don't ever exceed them past the belt line and shoot. So you run, rake before contact, so you're not going after a blocker like this. So as I'm coming to engage in a blocker, I'm pumping, rake, shoot. Okay? Good question. So now you get a spike move, overtake, climb second level. Okay, outside leverage, plays outside, no one to engage with, so I take my open angle drive step here, just don't let that foot cross over, stay down the midline and square and rake. Okay, defender comes inside, this is a nice job by this guard, keeping the shoulder pad square. All 3 of them at this point in time. If we're pressing the B gap, we're covering up jerseys. That's the object of the inside zone. Let that defender have to pop his head up to try to find the ball carrier. So keep on climbing. Again, a little bit better job with our base, but we'll continue working on that to improve it. And now I get a stack alignment. The linebackers work to a stack position. That guard tackle comes off front side number. That guard says, okay, I see the down lineman. He's playing at home. I feel the linebacker work to a stack alignment. I'm going to pound the down now. I'm going to seam hips and shoulders together and create movement and softness. And that's what we want to be able to do on the inside zone. Now, this is the guard asking, the center asking for a little help. He said, hey, by alignment or ability, I need a little help. So he's going to help this center, then ricochet off. That tells him engage and keep the thing. We're going to try to create some softness on that 3 technique that's in the B gap area and get movement, create movement. And then this Rick is in here because by alignment of nose guards, right? By alignment or by ability, they can wreak havoc and screw a play up or screw a game up. So don't let them do that. So we have a combination block that we call that right guard or play side guard. Say, hey, help me on this nose guard. We don't do that on the outside zone. We have a different scheme that goes into that. But on the inside zone, help me. And then that's our little ricochet block where I'll help on that shoulder and come off of it. But on the back side of your blocks, there's just simple A's, B's, and C's. And now, again, creating more movement and pushing everything more vertical. You will not see shouldn't see a 90-75 footwork here unless linebackers are bossed so far over that the backside tackle has to do that, okay? Okay, stretch a muscle. So we start our drills off when it's going to be inside zone. You saw earlier that on the outside zone, we took our 90-75 overtake steps. Now we'll offset. We'll go 3 by 3 on both sides. Shade 3-5. Direct step, direct step, direct step. Helmet to the front side number. Second step through the crotch. Thumbs inside tight. Thumbs inside tight. Fingers out. Elbows to the ground and lift. Lift and leg drive. So with leg drive, here's one thing that I've done over the years. The knees are always out in front of the toes as you're leg driving. So if you're generating force, those knees are pumping and they're going out in front of the toes. So as we do that, we get great movement. One other thing, I have a young man sitting in this room who played for me with the Buffalo Bills, Colin Brown. He was a hell of a guard and center, and he's going into the ministry. Okay, he's come here with his brother to see this clinic today. But this young man came from Missouri from a 2-point stance. We had to teach him how to get in a 3-point stance. But he learned how to do that and turned out to be a hell of a guard. So give him a hand real quick. Good. And another young man that's a player here by the name of Nick Hennessy, who's at UT Chattanooga. It's good to see old players come back and become coaches, and then George Cooper, who played for us at UT Chattanooga. Those are three that I noticed that were former players of mine, or I had an association with them, that now you see them in the profession, which is nice. Okay, so let's watch this right here. So stretch and muscle, and again, I call it stretch and muscle because I want to get vertical push. So direct step and go. Accelerate, thumbs inside, tight, elbows inside to the ground, and you can see it right here. This young man right here, Alex Lewis, okay, Bill Lewis's boy, and I coach Bill. How about that? So I got a son now, which is a treat also. So now Alex is a good player and a good technician right here. He works at his job every day. So stretch a muscle left, stretch a muscle right. Second step through the crotch. Faster with the second step. We want to stick it right through the crotch, hip roll, and leg drive. And again, these are our rookies last summer. Okay, going to the right. Again, not a lateral step. This young man likes to step lateral. We got to break him of that, where he pushes off. And again, I tell him this. If you're going to step with your right foot, put pressure on the inside arch of the left foot. Shift that weight in there. Makes it easier to step with your right foot. Generate power going that force in that direction. Again, stretch your muscle. We want to get vertical push on this, okay? Backside cutoffs. So now, when a defender is in that position and he's playing you a shade or he's playing you a 3 and he's playing you a 4-eye and he wants to cross face you on the backside, okay? So instead of letting him beat you in that situation, take a 3 or 4 inch zone step to this with your foot opposite the play, to the play side, and your backside foot's through the crotch, and you're working through inside thigh, hip, and number on those defenders to wall them off and keep them from penetrating. And then accelerate drive. This is James Hurst, who played at Carolina, and you can see good zone step, generates force with his hands inside, and then leg drive to finish the block.
Coach, first step, ideally, do you want it to be up a little bit?
Lateral. Just little lateral, 3 or 4 inch lateral, second step through the crotch. So you don't get beat across the face on a spike move. You can see it here. So we'll stretch a muscle to the right, we'll cut it off on the backside to the left to keep that same footwork so we can keep getting building patterns for footwork and balance. Okay? So now you have your 2x2, 3x3 front side, inside zone keys and reads. Okay? So same principle. Front side, home, back side. How's he going to play you? How are you going to fit the blocks now? Okay, so again, this is when we had Rick at camp last year. So this is your center, your right guard, right tackle. They're running some form of a tag scheme here. He works front side, I open, angle, drive, and I try to get square on that linebacker, go down the midline, the front side number. If that defender spikes inside, I will overtake, I will hand check, I'll climb. If he moves to a stack alignment, move the downs, pound the downs, seam hips and shoulders together, create movement with leg drive. Okay? So we have an outside maneuver by the 5 technique, the play side tackle, hat to the front side number, helmet adjust, and Dan said this earlier about being able to relocate your hat and eyes to the spot. Well, the spot's a front side number, so helmet adjust your eyes and your hat to that spot and follow that course of action. So when you get movement by D lineman, you're not a step behind. Okay? Then open, angle, do not cross over, and square it up. Run, rake, and I tell them this. Run, rake, and clamp. Second level. Okay, that's loop, spike. Don't step out, direct step vertically, open step, hit it square, and again, shoulder pad square, inside zone, shoulder pad square, climb. And now we've got a defender working slowly, so now I'm going to pound it down on a double team. Seam the hips and shoulders together, create movement. Same thing on this side. Tackle, guard combination with the center playing on a shade nose. Guard takes an open step, angle, the 5 technique plays outside leverage, don't chase, hand check, climb, rake. Right down the midline of the linebacker.
Coach, what's the rake? What are you talking about?
Rake hands. Rake hands. Good question. Don't ever exceed them past the belt line and shoot. So you run, rake before contact, so you're not going after a blocker like this. So as I'm coming to engage in a blocker, I'm pumping, rake, shoot. Okay? Good question. So now you get a spike move, overtake, climb second level. Okay, outside leverage, plays outside, no one to engage with, so I take my open angle drive step here, just don't let that foot cross over, stay down the midline and square and rake. Okay, defender comes inside, this is a nice job by this guard, keeping the shoulder pad square. All 3 of them at this point in time. If we're pressing the B gap, we're covering up jerseys. That's the object of the inside zone. Let that defender have to pop his head up to try to find the ball carrier. So keep on climbing. Again, a little bit better job with our base, but we'll continue working on that to improve it. And now I get a stack alignment. The linebackers work to a stack position. That guard tackle comes off front side number. That guard says, okay, I see the down lineman. He's playing at home. I feel the linebacker work to a stack alignment. I'm going to pound it down now. I'm going to seam hips and shoulders together and create movement and softness. And that's what we want to be able to do on the inside zone. Now, this is the center asking for a little help. He said, hey, by alignment or ability, I need a little help. So he's going to help this center, then ricochet off. That tells him engage and keep. So this is now working inside zone with what we call a stitch inside here. So he's going to press front side number. He's going to zone over, open angle drive, and anything he can engage to take, he's going to. If not, he stays the course, midlines that linebacker. So you can see, he doesn't chase it. Open angle, inside zone, get back square, and get my pads square on that linebacker. Square. Okay? Cover up the jerseys. Going to the left. Okay. So now that defender played at home. That linebacker stacked. We want to generate a double team. So outside footwork, never inside footwork. Okay? Same thing outside zone. We're always stepping. If I'm the right tackle, right guard, or tight end, I'm stepping with my outside footwork. I don't step with my inside foot. Okay? My backside blocker is going to be able to help me out as a blocker by overtaking or pushing through or fitting the seams. So inside and outside zone. Outside footwork by the point of attack blocker, backside blocker is going to come either, again, overtake or push through on the seam. So on this one here, I'd like to have our hips and shoulders a little bit more square. So sometimes we'll tell them to square their step up a little bit, but he's going to pound it. I tell him hit him fat and flat. Hit him fat and flat. So at this point in time, push off the inside foot, step with the outside foot, and pound that outside number. You step over, it may be lateral, it may be open, depending how the width of that defender, but you have to seam up that down man to that linebacker, pound it down, and get shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, and generate force. Let's watch it here. Okay? So you see outside footwork. You see Marshall hit it fat and flat. Right here. Fat and flat. Now this is pretty good seam by both of them. Hips and shoulders, I like them seam up a little bit more, but Marshall started outside foot, second foot, through the crotch, outside number, there's the linebacker, let him come to me. I don't have to go too fast. This is a B gap, the cut back play. Okay, so we get a loop out. We get a two technique or two eye that's going to loop out, outside footwork. I fill the loop out, I open step, hand check, and climb the second level. So you give them different things that's going to take place, either by game plan or just teaching the simple things. That defender's going to play three things on you, right? He's got gap control. He's going to play A gap, he's going to play B gap, or he's going to two gap. So you know that's going to take place. And that linebacker's going to fit accordingly. So fit your blocks accordingly so you can seam your movement on that defender. Okay, so again, he asked for a little help. He said, okay, help me out. I got a badass nose guard over here. Help me. So we take a little trigger step with this outside foot, pound that shoulder, ricochet it off of there, and climb the linebacker. That tells that play side tackle, though, he had to stay engaged. Okay, so he sees this. He said, okay, he asked for the same scheme, but the guard read it. He said, okay, I felt this defender go inside. I'm not going to chase it. He's working to a stack position, intercept it laterally, make a seam with my tackle. He's engaged, fit the down, and pound the down, and see if we can get movement. Now, some of these things, this is teaching, right? It's going to look a little bit better. In live situations sometimes, that linebacker's downhill, we may only be getting a hand on that guy, right? Because he's playing fast too. So again, now the two technique loops out to a three. The guard stayed engaged, the tackle stayed engaged, and the center climbs up. And the same thing. Okay, here you go. Now we put a little twist in it, okay? Again, I'd rather him take more of a direct step, but watch how those three sort out this situation. Okay? Front side number, he asks for help, he's going to read it, he comes through, stay on the zone path. Those three are our responsibility. We have to find a way to get hats on hats. Just like so. Don't chase. And again, if this three looped out so far, I would engage it here, and we would say this. Now you converted your what? They had a stitch inside here, they lost a stitch, and they would have gained a tag. There would have been now a gain of blocking scheme between the guard and tackle. They seamed that up together to the linebacker.
Go back to one. That guy disappears on the tackle.
Yes.
His eyes go immediately to the backer.
Goes up immediately to the linebacker. No. At that point in time, the only way he'd look inside, Bob, is if he felt presence by that linebacker, that down lineman first in that gap. And if that's the case, then he would seam it up here, and they run that combination together. Okay, backside zones and keys and reads, okay? So on the backside, let's look at this. This is the backside of an A now. You saw the earlier one on the outside zone. It was 90, 75 overtake, and they were moving, right? But this is inside zone. So this is pounding the down, okay? So this may give you flashbacks, Colin and Hennessy, from your days doing this. So when we had it over here, that's the down lineman, that's the linebacker. Those two are on a 2x2 combination, all right? So that center's going to step play side foot. He's going to stick foot through that near knee, near shoulder, two hands to there, and this guard takes a lateral step. And I call it a power A. anytime we're going to seam up for inside zone, he's going to take a lateral step, and he's generating all his force to the midline of that down lineman. We're going to get shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, and now create movement with leg drive. There it is. Fit the down. Shoulder pad square, create movement, leg drive. Get north. Okay? Watch it here. Same thing. A little bit more, like to have a little bit more outside footwork here. Second step to the near thigh hip. And then like to have Alex's hat more midline to push it through. And the more we do this, the better we get at it. And the same thing here. Too much of a pie. Again, I see this. Too much of a pie shape in here. We're not seaming that up good enough right there. We have to improve that. Okay? This is a better fit right here. You can see the lateral step. Watch the lateral step by the left guard. Lateral, fit, midline, and push through. Okay? Here's a good one here. Watch the guard, lateral step, midline, push through. Okay, now this is the B on the backside. So Marshall says, okay, linebacker's back door. Linebacker is back door. I could stay heavier on this. So I'll step with my inside foot vertical or a little zone step. I'm going to put two hands on that inside number here. This backside tackle is going to drop an angle, hit the midline, seam the hips and shoulders together, and create movement. Same thing here. There's your B. See it? Open. We're going to drop it right here. Drop, angle, drive. This guard, zones, little zone step, 3 or 4 inches. Two hands to that shoulder. Got a stack linebacker, ZPA, zone, pop, and then angle off. So, toughest thing is to help put a tackle on the inside zone, which you know the defender's a unit closer now to make a play, 2 units closer basically, to make the play on an inside zone. And if you don't assist your tackle, it's going to be hard to run inside zone. So how do you do it? Ask your guard to help a little bit unless danger presents itself where he can't. By alignment, pre-snap, or as he's working on the snap. Okay? So this is a B right here. You can see Marshall take his own step. Austin takes a drop and angle through the midline, and they push through for the linebacker. This might be even a better one here. Now you got a stack alignment by the linebacker. So with the stack alignment linebacker, Marshall's going to take a little zone step, 3 or 4 inches, two hands to the inside number. He's going to drop an angle, and those two are going to seam that, and he'll ricochet off. And again, you got to get the timing with it, and the guard's got to get a good feel. Okay? Same thing here. Got to loop 3, don't chase it. 2 hands to the shoulder, I can't help much more. Go up to the linebacker. Wait 1 second.
Would you do anything different on those stack backers if they were falling backside a lot?
If they're falling backside, still stay on the double team. Take care of the first level, and then let the second level come to you. Okay? Because it's inside zone. Question? Midline. Rake the hands through the midline. Okay? So, incorporating now, and again, I'm showing you drills leading up to this stuff, right? Then I'll show you the tape. Okay, so now I got a stack backer. We got inside zone going left. Got a 3 technique with the Sam stacked. Okay? So we're going to pound it down here. We're going to pound it down here. So we're going to have 2 double teams before we go up to second level. So inside zone going left. Seam it, create movement. This guard's footwork is going to be outside footwork to the inside number. This tackle is going to take what we call a J step, a little lateral step in, and get shoulder, hip to hip. And they double team at 3 up to the backer. He's going to take outside footwork, near foot through the near hip. He's going to now lateral power over and seam hips and shoulders. So you can see the fit of the double teams. Take care of the downs. Shoulder pads square. Get as square as you can. Inside zone B gap. Hit it. The cutback. Same thing. Now we got a loop, right? So we put a loop 3 in. Don't chase. Loop 3. Outside footwork. Hand check. Climb to second level. Loop nose. Okay? Overtake it. Hand check. Climb the backer. Again, lateral step. Shoulder pad square. Vertical. Same thing again. And if he loops out so far, those two can run a combination on the move. So same situation. If this defender spiked inside here, this center would ever see the linebacker over the top, I can't capture him now. He's going over the top. I got first level threat converted now to a stitch. I'll work a double team with you two together so we can still collect the double team and move up. And we did it on both sides. Okay? So this might be a better illustration for you to see a plug. Okay? Outside footwork, J-step. Pretty good right here by that tackle. And then fitting the seam on the double team on the backside. And these are just same combination, 2x2 combinations. And that's nothing but a stitch. Fit the double team. Direct step, angle, and climb. Okay? So that's the drill tape, and then we'll show you some game tape now. No. I'm behind directing, Dan, and telling them where to go, the defensive linemen, and now they have to react to the situation. Okay, this is going to be the open side, and this is also going to be to the tight side, okay? So you'll see both. And you're going to see some good-looking blocks, and you're going to see some blocks that aren't going to be very good that we got to continue to improve upon, right? That's part of coaching. Okay, so let's look at the front side. So we got this front side tackle, and again, we have to improve. This is an area I know emphasis that we have to do a better job of what I call stretch and bustle or prying this dude open. We got to corkscrew and make a bigger gaping hole here. So that's a need for us on our offensive line that we have to improve. But watch the seam of the stitch right here and the B on the back side with the zone pop and angle, okay? So you can see, watch the left guard. Takes a little subtle zone step with his right foot. Double A's, right? Inside zone, double A's. So at this point in time, don't take the cheese. If he would have shot off on this guy over here, how do you know you don't get a game over here? They got us overloaded anyway. So we're trying to push this thing outside because we had too many and not enough blockers. So we made a call inside here and said, hey, look outside, make sure we don't get any danger coming back inside, pick it up. And then the backside guard, we got to relay it to him a little bit faster so we can get that call. Okay. Let me know when there's about 2, okay? Okay, here's another good shot. Okay. You got a 2 that loops out to a 3. The center comes off the stitch, block him right here. Don't chase, climb the second level, which he does. The tackle, again, go get him, create more movement. And on the backside, they're going to run the heavy B and then climb the second level. And you can see fits of double teams and then creating softness. Okay? So with that said, men, I think he gives you some pretty good illustrations of what we've done. And like I said, this is stuff that we've developed over the years. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But something I believe in, and I coach off of it. I just can continue coaching off it and pick up ideas, more ideas, how we can make it better. Okay? Anything else, Bob? Thank you for your time. I appreciate your attendance.